recording. Okay, so again, pathways to university, education, training, and employment. But first of all, let's see what is the course about and what we are going to do in the next 10 sessions. First of all, I'm going to share with you some useful information about pathways to higher education. If you're planning to go to university here in the UK, if you're planning to do any undergraduate bachelor course, or if you already have a bachelor course from your country and you're planning to do any postgraduate education like MSc or PhD courses. Also, for some of you who are more interested in applying for jobs or going through some trainings before applying for jobs, I will be explaining different alternatives, other pathways that you have through further education, through teacher training courses, and so on and so forth. So that's the main part of our sessions, our course basically, different options in higher education and other alternatives that you have in further education sector. And then I assume most of us, we want to apply for jobs. Okay, so education and training and these kind of courses, the reason for going through these kind of education pathways is to finally apply for jobs that you would like to. So what I'm going to do later, I'm going to explain how to enter the career market in the UK, what kind of entry requirements you need, and the way that you can find jobs, you can apply for jobs, and you can prepare yourself for those job applications. We will be talking about study skills and employability skills that you need. So if you want to go to university or if you want to apply for jobs, what kind of skills do you need to increase your chance of being accepted for that university course or for that job application? I will be working with you in terms of how to plan, okay? Because most of us, we know what we want. We know that we want to go to university. We know that we want to apply for these kind of jobs or going back to your previous career that you had back in your country. But the problem for many of us is how to plan and what we need to do and what we can do and how to do things that we need to do, okay? So a part of our course would be about planning, identifying your goals based on the options that you have, what opportunities are available here in the UK for you, either as asylum seekers or people still waiting for your asylum claim to be processed, or if you have refugee status, what kind of barriers you may face in terms of language barriers, in terms of qualification barriers, and offering you some solutions about how to overcome those barriers. And then finally, we will be working on practicalities of application process. If you want to apply for university, if you want to apply for jobs, you need to do some practical actions in terms of application process, writing statements, writing CVs, filling application forms, and so on and so forth. And that will be part of our course as well, how to go through the actual application process for jobs or for university courses. So these are the main things that we are going to learn together and practice during the next 10 sessions. And this is our program, okay? So starting from today, which is our first session, today is going to be like an outline, a general overview of educational pathways in the UK. So today I'm going to give you a very brief outline of the different pathways and how the education system in the UK works. Next week, our second session will be about academic pathways, okay? People who are planning to go to university and apply for undergraduate courses. And by undergraduate, I mean mainly bachelor courses. The following week, week 3 will be about undergraduate as well. And during the week 3, we will be learning about the application process and what do you need to have to apply. Week 4 is for students who are planning to apply for postgrad. And by postgrad, I mean master's courses or PhD. So if you have already a bachelor degree from your country or from anywhere else, and you're planning to go to university for a postgraduate course, week 4 is the week that we are going to learn about postgraduate application and different options that you have in the UK, basically. Week 5 is about people who are interested in job-related training, in vocational training, okay? And we will be going through different options that you have if you would like to be trained to start a particular job. If you are planning, if you are not interested in going to university, or if you are interested in specific kind of jobs, if you would like to be trained as an accountant, or if you want to be trained as a plumber or electrician, and so on and so forth. So during week 6, we are going to learn about career pathways, how to be trained in order to start a career here in the UK. Week 7 will be about how to enter the career market and how to find jobs and how to identify entry requirements and how to meet those entry requirements in terms of education, experience, language, and other requirements. And then week 8 and 9, we will be going through the actual job application process, okay? Because here in the UK, for most of the jobs, there is a specific process of application. You need to find the job that you want or you are interested in. Then you need to go through the application form. So most of the time you need a CV, a statement, or you need to fill an application form. And then later, if you get shortlisted, there is an interview process that you need to prepare yourself for an interview. And then if you sort of pass the interview, you will be offered the job. So week 8 and 9 is about how to prepare yourself, how to apply, and how to increase your chance of getting a job here in the UK. And the final week is about those who are interested in self-employment or entrepreneurship. Many of you probably, or some of you, coming from the business background. You had your own businesses back in your countries or elsewhere, and you are interested in knowing more about how to start your own business here in the UK and how to become entrepreneur, okay? The final week, week 10, is about those students, those learners who want to do self-employment and entrepreneurship. Okay, so this is our program, our plan for the next 10 sessions, and we have our own plan and I have my own content, but every session you have time to ask your questions about the course and about anything else that you need information about. So we are going to have our sessions every Thursday, starting from 10, finishing at 12 lunchtime. And every week, I'm going to have 45 minutes presentation. Then we'll give you 10 minutes of break. We will come back for another 45 minutes of presentation. During the presentation, you are more than welcome to ask questions, okay? So anytime that you have a question, please feel free to switch on your microphone and ask your questions. However, at the end of each session, we will have 20 minutes just for Q&A. And during that 20 minutes, you can ask question about whatever you want, okay? I understand that you have so many different questions because you need to deal with so many different new things here in the country, in your new country. So in that 20 minutes, you have time to ask questions about the course or about anything else that you have question about. I do my best to answer you the question, or I'll sort of refer you or signpost you to a person, or I'll go and find the answer for that question for you. So please feel free to bring any question that you have to the sessions, and you can raise those questions at the end. So later during the course, probably next month or the month after, we are going to have some one-to-one sessions online if you are not available for face-to-face. But for those of you in Manchester, we are going to have some face-to-face sessions with me. I understand for those in London or Bristol, there is going to be face-to-face session with other tutors or other volunteers. So just if you are not comfortable to raise your question during the online collective sessions, during the group sessions, there will be time for you to have one-to-one meeting with me or with others online or face-to-face to ask those questions. Okay, so until now, let me know if you have any question about the course. Anyone, any question? Okay, so let me move on. So the first thing that we are going to learn together is where you are at the moment in terms of your education and employment, okay? So many of you are in the beginning of your life in the UK. So you have been here for, some of you, I understand, for a few months. Some of you are still living in hotel accommodation, waiting for your asylum claim to be processed. Some of you have refugee status, but just been here for less than a year or two, and it's not clear for you where you are in the UK education and employment system, okay? So first thing that is important for me to show you is the structure of UK education system and the career market of the country, and then trying to help you to understand where is your current position, okay? Because without knowing where you are, it's very difficult to plan for future. Okay, and to know when you know where you are, then the next option or the next step is to learn about different options that you have, okay? Because as a person in this country, as a student, as a learner, you have different options, okay? You can go to university, you can go to doing like vocational trainings, you can go to college, you can start a job, you can do voluntary jobs, you can do apprenticeship training, you can start your own business. So the next phase for me is to introduce you to the options that you have, different pathways that you have, and trying to understand which one could be the best one for you, okay? Because sometimes, most of the time, students asking me about, okay, I have this the qualification from, let's say, Afghanistan or Sudan. My language is this, my experience is this, and I have these options. I can go to university, or I can do training, or I can start my own business. Which one is the best one or the best option for me? I cannot answer those kind of questions, but I can help you to answer those questions for yourself, okay? Which pathway, which option could be the best or the most doable option for you in the future. Then, when you know your options, the next stage is planning, okay? Because if you know where you want to go, but you don't know how, it's very difficult to get there, okay? So first, where you are now, then the options that you have, the places that you can go from here, and then when you decide, this is my option, this is my choice, this is my preferred option, then I'm going to help you to plan. So for instance, if you're planning to apply for an undergraduate course, become a kind of IT computer engineer, if you want to go to university, you need to plan for that. You need some entry requirements. You need to have language qualification. You need to have the entry requirements in terms of GCSEs or A levels. Also, you need to have your statement. You need to have your personal reference. You need to know the application process. So these are the things that we are going to learn together about how to plan for your goals. And then finally, when you know where you are, when you know your options, when you can choose the most preferred option for you, and you have planned to achieve that option, to achieve that goal, it's more likely, it increases your chance of having those goals achieved. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to start here and just asking you in terms of what do you want to achieve from this course? So what do you want to have at the end of the course, at the end of these 10 weeks? One thing that I would like you to do is just to be active during the session. It's not just for me to speak and for you to listen. It's an interactive course, okay? And then it's very good for your practicing your English language as well. So please, when we have these kind of conversation, just feel free to join the conversation. I'm going to pause the presentation. I'll give you 10 minutes break in probably in 5-10 minutes, okay? So as I mentioned, we are going to learn together where you are, what is your current position, what options you have in the future, how to plan for your goals, and then how to achieve them step by step. So the first part, it is important to know where you are in your journey. As I said, most of you are in the beginning of your journey of education, living, career, integration in your new country, in the UK. And it's important to know your position in the country. And that depends on your previous education and qualifications from your country or elsewhere. So most of the students, they struggle to understand what is the value of their degree here in this country. So students coming most of the time asking me about, oh, I have a high school diploma from Eritrea or from Ethiopia. What does that mean here in the UK? What can I do with that degree? Or I have a baccalaureate from Cameroon, or I have a high school diploma from Syria. What can I do with my degree? Okay, this is the first thing that you need to learn. What is the value of your degree or your qualification here in this country? And we are going to learn it together. Then your previous work experience. So many of you have some kind of work experience, professional experience in the past. Some of you may be highly experienced. I worked with GPs, nurses, engineers, teachers, university professors, and so on and so forth. Some of you may have had early career experience. So you started a job in your country, and then later you had to move out of your country. So you have some kind of experience. Some of you don't have any experience. You are just 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, and you never had the opportunity to start a job back in your country or somewhere else. So we are going to learn about how to translate your job experience from your country or from anywhere else into the UK career market. And later, language, okay, language requirement. Because again, this is a question that students more kind of keep asking me about, okay, what kind of language proficiency or what kind of language qualification do I need to start this course or to start applying for this job or to go to that university and so on. So we are going to learn about different language qualifications in the UK and different requirements for different courses and different jobs. And as Madusa mentioned, immigration status could be an issue sometimes, not always, but for some of you who are still waiting for your asylum claim, you may not have access to some of the, unfortunately, to some of the options. So like a student finance is the main problem. It's not accessible for people with asylum status, asylum seeking status. So we are going to learn about how your immigration status can affect funding, right to work, and then the options that you have if you are not having your refugee status yet in terms of scholarships and other options. And yeah, so these are the main things that we are going to learn about. Where is your current position? Okay, your qualification, your work experience, your language level, and your immigration status. Okay, so just very briefly, this is an overview of the education system here in the UK. And this is similar to many of the countries that we come from, okay? So there is primary education, secondary education, and post-secondary education. So primary education is primary school. In some countries, they have primary school and middle school, but here in the UK is mainly primary school. And this is for children age 5 to 11, okay? So after that, people move on to secondary education. And this is age 12 to 16. And in here and in many other countries, it is high school, okay? Primary school, after that high school. And then here in the UK, people finish secondary education with a degree called GCSE, General Certificate of Secondary Education. I think Makbula said she's doing some kind of GCSE at the moment. So GCSE is the evidence, is the qualification that shows you have finished secondary education. And after that, some people decide to continue to A levels. And this is after, for children in the UK, this is post 16. So they finish high school 16, and then some of them, they decide to go to A levels. And most of the time, students who plan to go to university, they choose A levels because they need A levels most of the time to start a university course. So that's post 16. And the next step is post-secondary education. And in the UK, we have two main types of post-secondary education. One is further education. So most of the time, if you come across FE, so if you read something about university, about application, if you go to UCAS website, you see FE quite frequently. That means further education. And that's the kind of education which is tied to jobs, okay? That's vocational training. Those are the kind of trainings that people who don't want or who are not interested to go to university, they go through vocational training in FE education, in further education, in colleges and other places to start a career. Those who decide to go to university, they go to higher education, which is HE, okay? If you see HE in documents, in papers, and websites, that means higher education. And by that, we mean undergraduate, like bachelor degree, postgraduate, like MSc, Master of Science, MA, Master of Art, or PhD, and some other degrees, which we are going to learn more about later. So this is the general structure of the education in the UK: primary, secondary, and post-secondary. And you are somewhere here. So most of you are in secondary education or post-secondary. So some of you may have high school diploma from your country. You may have GCSEs from your country. Some of you may have college degrees, so equivalent to A levels from your countries. Some of you may have started an undergraduate course in your country, but you couldn't finish that. Some of you, you finished your undergrad, like Judd, you finished your undergrad, you have already a bachelor degree, and some of you may have, I don't think there is anyone here, but some of you may have postgraduate qualifications like master or PhD as well. So first of all, it's important to understand where you are here in this pathway of primary, secondary, and post-secondary. The reason that is important, because when you know where you are, then you can decide where is the next level. And then when you know the next level, then we can help you to take steps that you need to take in terms of other courses that you need to pass, language qualifications, and so on and so forth to go through that goal. Any question about this slide? Do you have any question about the structure of education in the UK? Primary, secondary, and post-secondary, okay? Anyone before I move on? Okay, so this one, it gives you a more in detail information about education in the UK, okay? And this is the structure of our course as well. If you remember, I said in the first 4 or 5 sessions, we are going to learn about the academic pathway. So this is the academic pathway. In the later sessions, we are going to learn about vocational training, which is this pathway. And then later, we are going to learn about job-related training, which is apply or work route training. So these are 3 main pathways that we are going to learn together this week. And so if you go to college here in the UK, or if you are doing like ESOL, any language training, you may have heard about level 1, level 2, entry, pre-entry, entry 1, entry 2, entry 3. So these are the different levels of education in the UK, okay? So when you are talking about, so I'm doing ESOL level 2, that's here, okay? If you are doing ESOL level 1, this here, that's here. If you are doing any pre-entry, you are not in this table, you are in the entry level, which is like below level 1. So it's, first of all, what I would like you to think about is to understand your current level, okay? So if you have finished your high school in your country, any country, it could be Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Sudan, Eritrea, and any country that you finished your high school and you have evidence that you finished your high school, you are here. So end of high school is you have level 2 GCSE, so equivalent to GCSEs. And as I mentioned, most students who want to go to university here in the UK, after level 2, they go for level 3, which is mainly A levels. So some of you may have college courses from your country. So after high school, you may pass some post high school degrees. Like I know about Iran, when you finish your high school, then you have 1 year of post high school or pre-university, okay? So if you have that post high school or pre-university, and in Iran they call it pre-university, if you have that pre-university degree, that's a level 3, okay? Which means that you are good to apply for a level 4 going to university. Level 4 is the beginning of university, is the beginning of a bachelor degree, okay? And when you finish your bachelor, you have level 6. So Jad, I assume he has a bachelor degree, so he has a level 6 qualification, which means he can apply for a level 7, which is master's, okay? So that's important, because if you understand where you are and where you want to be, then we can work together on how to fill the gap. So many of you and many students that I've worked with in the past, they have level 2, they have a GCSE, a high school diploma from their country. They want to start a course here in university, which is level 4, and the gap is here, okay? They don't have any level 3 qualification. And then when we know that where the problem is, we can help them to fill that gap. And in the next sessions, I'm going to show you if this is the problem for you, if you have GCSE, but you don't have level 3 A-level or pre-university or whatever, and you want to apply for level 4 university course, what are the options and what you need to do to fill that gap. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes of break, okay? It's 10:48. We are going to take a break until 10:58. I'll start at 11. Don't disconnect, okay? Just leave everything connected as it is. Go grab a coffee, tea, water, what you want, stretch your legs, and come back in 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm here. I'm just sitting here looking at the camera, and if you have any question, just feel free to ask questions. See you in 10 minutes before 11, okay? Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Please put your microphones on mute. If your microphone is not muted, please mute your microphone, okay? And then whenever you have a question, just switch your microphone on mute, and ask your question. Okay, so until now, we went through the education system in the country, and we have learned about different levels of education, from level 1, 2, and these are secondary education, GCSE, high school level, and then level 3, which is pre-university, and then level 4, which is the beginning of university, and then level 6, end of the bachelor, level 7, master's degree, and then level 8, which is the highest level of education in the country, doctorate. And I told you that we have 3 main pathways: academic, vocational, and applied. We are going to learn more about each of them during the next 10 sessions, starting from academic, then vocational, then applied or work. Okay, when you understood your education level, so for instance, if you have a level 2 or level 3, can I apply for university? And is it all that I need to apply for university? Yes and no, okay? So alongside your degree, your academic degree, your high school degree, your qualification, you need something, a kind of paperwork, qualification that shows your language proficiency. Before we start talking about the language proficiency, most of the time students asking me about where we can find more information about degrees in our country and the value of our degrees here in the UK. The first place is this, okay? This is a booklet that you can find in UCAS website. It's about international qualifications. This is 2015 edition, so it's the latest, but it's not up to date. So it's 2015. When I send you the link, the slides, you can press on the link and you can go to the booklet. You have country by country information about every country's about different qualification in those countries and the value of those qualifications here in the UK. I'm going to show you later. I'm going to that website, to that booklet, and showing you more about country-specific information. But if you are looking for more up-to-date information about your country in terms of qualification and university degrees, most of the universities in the UK, they have a page in their website about country-specific education. So for instance, I added 2 links here, University of Bradford and University of Bristol. And you can have the same page in most of the universities in the UK. So the only thing that you need probably to do is just Googling country-specific information University of Manchester, country-specific information University of London, or whatever. You can just find it by Googling it. As an example, I added University of Bradford and University of Bristol here. So if you click on each of these links, it will take you to a page, and then you can find a list of countries in alphabetical order, and you can click on your own country, and then you can see the entry requirement for that university for students coming from your country. So like in that list, I'm going to show you later on my screen. So for instance, if you click on Afghanistan, it shows you different degrees and qualifications in Afghanistan education system, and it shows you whether you can apply for university with that qualification or not. So this is something for you to go and find out more about later. I'll show you some example later on. Is it clear? Any question about how to find information about your country-specific information about your qualification? Clear? Okay. Okay, so is high school qualification or university qualification degree is enough? Yes and no. Yes, which means you can apply, but almost every university, because you are not from an English-speaking country, they will ask you to prove your language proficiency. So you need, as part of your application process, you need to prove by a paper, by a qualification, your level of language. This picture, this graph, it shows you different levels of language, or the levels of language here in the UK. Starting from if you are doing entry level, okay, or starting from pre-entry. I don't think anyone here is pre-entry, but probably you all know someone who goes to college, who goes to like a charity education, and they are doing pre-entry. That's for the beginners, and this is the beginner. Then we have entry 1, entry 2, and entry 3, which is here, basic user. And then when you finish your entry 3, you can go to level 1 and level 2. So many of you, I understand you are doing ESOL courses, or you are doing functional skills, level 1 and level 2, and that's here. So in terms of independent user, level 1 and level 2, as you can see. Many universities, if you go to their website, they mention IELTS as the sort of proof that they want from you. So for undergrads, most universities in the UK, they ask for IELTS 6 or 6.5. And if you're doing postgrad, some universities, they want 6.5 or 7. However, IELTS is not the only qualification that they accept. If you go to their website, which I'll show you later, and if you read the entry requirement, they mention IELTS, but they say equivalent qualifications or equivalent tests, okay? Which means there are other qualifications that they accept as well, especially for undergrad. So if you're planning to do undergrad, IELTS, if you can have IELTS, because IELTS is somehow more time-taking, could be more expensive, and could be sometimes more difficult, but it's not the only option. If you go to university website, they give you a list of other language qualifications that they accept, or if they say equivalent, which means you can have other qualifications. So if you see here in this slide, this red arrow, it shows that IELTS 6 and 6.5 is equivalent to level 2, okay? So most of the students that I worked with, and they went to university, they went to university for undergrad with level 2 functional skills or ESOL. So if you are doing a level 2 ESOL or functional skills, that's something that you can use to go to university for most universities, not for all universities, okay? But most of the universities, they accept level 2 for undergrad instead of IELTS. So IELTS is something that all universities accept, but most universities for undergrad, they accept other level 2 qualifications. So if 6.5 IELTS, you can do Cambridge, C1, you can do language cert, you can do Trinity or other. So any of these qualifications here, if you have them, or if it's easier or less expensive for you to do, you can use them instead of IELTS. However, it depends on the university. So what is important for you, and we are going to practice it later, is to go to university webpage based on universities that you are interested in and the courses that you are interested in. Go to entry requirements and look at the language requirement, okay? If it says just IELTS, which means just IELTS. But if it mentions other qualifications, or if it says equivalent to IELTS 6 or IELTS 6.5, that means other qualifications at the same level are accepted. So instead of IELTS 6.5, you can do level 2 functional skills, or you can do Cambridge, or you can do language cert, or you can do others. So these days, many universities are more flexible in terms of language requirement. Even some of them, they have internal exams, internal tests that you can sit, and if you pass, they give you the offer. So don't let language hold you back, okay? As long as you have the high school university qualifications, you can apply, and there is always a way of showing and proving your language proficiency to start a course. Is it clear for you? Any question about language requirement?
Yeah, it is clear. Actually, I had a question about this one, but it's mostly clear now.
Okay.
Yeah, like my question was how to prove what my level of English is. So
yes, so
university.
As I mentioned, one way is to pass some kind of exam, okay? And that exam depends on university. All universities, almost all universities, they accept IELTS, but many of them, they are flexible. They offer and they accept other qualifications and means of proving your language. My suggestion, and the best thing to do, is to go to university webpage, see what are other qualifications, but most of the time, this is this picture, okay? If you go above this red line, and if you go for any of these qualifications, it could be level 2, C1 Advanced, C1 Expert, Trinity ISE, or ESOL, SQA ESOL, or any other like level 2 qualification in that level. It could be TOEFL. So some students coming to the country with TOEFL qualification or paperwork. So anything in that level will be accepted. again, many universities, they have their own internal exam. Like in Manchester, we have 3 main universities: University of Manchester, Manchester Metropolitan, MMU, and University of Salford. Okay, I'm not sure about University of Manchester, they don't have internal, but University of Salford, they have internal. So many students, they go sit the internal exam. If they pass, they can have an offer from Salford. The thing about internal exam is it's just for that university, okay? They don't give you any paper. So you cannot do an internal exam in Salford and then go and apply for Bristol. Internal exam is about just offering a university course from that university. But what I would like you to know is IELTS is not like a huge issue. Universities are flexible, and you can think about other qualifications and other means of and ways of proving your language proficiency. Okay, so let's move on. So now we know about the education level from level 1 to level 8. So you need to go and find out more about where you are, what is your level. We know about language levels. So I need you to go and find out more about your language level and the options that you have. In terms of deadlines, which we had a quick conversation about it earlier. So if you are planning to go to university in September 2023 for an undergrad, the deadline, the first deadline was yesterday. However, if you have missed the deadline, you can still apply for many courses, okay? Because some of the universities, they don't get enough application, so they keep the courses open for people to apply. So there is still many courses open in many universities. It depends on which course and which university you are interested in. And if you are planning to go to university in September, and if your course and university is open, then you need to apply as soon as you can. Instead of having like a session on the application process, I will send you a video, okay? I have recorded a video step by step about how to apply. And to apply, you need to go through an online application process. You need to put some information in. You need to have a personal statement, and you need to have a person that is your personal reference. Okay, and the very final stage is just to pay. I'm not sure if it's 20 something pound that you need to pay for your application. It's easy. If you know how to do it after the video that I'm going to send to you, it's probably the whole application process will not take more than half an hour, but you need to have your statement ready. I'll be talking about a statement later, but I suggest if you are planning to apply for undergrad this year, next year, or in the future, go through the application process and learn it, okay? You can go through the end of the process and don't pay for it. It's just for the purpose of learning. Because then, if you have any question, if you face any problem, you can come back to me or to other tutors and mentors and ask your questions. Then next year, it saves you time, okay? You can prepare your statement from this year, and you can think about who is going to be your personal reference from now, instead of leaving it to next year and then having some problems later. So even if you want to apply for this year or next year, I suggest everyone go through the process. Do the application form, learn how to do it. If you have any question, come back and ask questions, prepare your statement, find your and speak with your personal reference. And if you don't have a personal reference, most of the Olive tutors, they are, I'm happy personally, and other Olive tutors are, I think they are happy as well to be your personal reference. So don't be worried if you don't have any contact with people in your country, or you don't know anyone who can be your personal reference. We can do it for you. But I suggest, if you're not planning for this year, just do the application for the purpose of learning. If you want, I'm not sure if it was Madusa or Makbula, but if you are planning for this year, you need to start as soon as you can, because now the application is the time for late applications. Okay, if you are planning to start a postgraduate course in September 2023, like Jad, you still have time until, it depends on university, but most of the universities they accept applications to even very close to September, when is the beginning of the course. It depends on university, but usually you need to submit your application in July, August time, okay? But again, I suggest you start as soon as you can. Any question about deadlines? Is it clear about what you need to do?
It is very
Yeah.
clear for me.
It's so
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah,
great.
and I did apply for the undergraduate, yeah, like a couple of months ago, and the money I paid for the application was £27.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure, but I knew that it was 20 something, but yeah, thanks, Zahar, it's £27. But don't be worried if you don't want to apply. Payment is the very final stage. You can do everything until payment, and you don't need to pay. Just if you want to learn, okay?
Yeah,
So-
practice wise, that's good.
Yeah, just practice, and then you can save your application for next year even. Okay, you can have, because you have a personal account, and the
Yeah.
application will be there, and then you can use it and then just update it for next year.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm gonna apply for the postgraduate as well, because I have done my
Brilliant.
university in Afghanistan.
Okay,
So I'm applying for both. One is done, and I'm gonna do it maybe from today or tomorrow, see which one is working.
brilliant. I think go for as many as you can. Just have different kind of options. It increases your chance of having offer at the end.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sir, I just want to apply also this year, and it's possible
Okay.
to applying now
For undergrad
or
or as
after this.
for
Yes,
undergraduate.
yes.
Yes, like I said, the application is still open, okay? It depends on university and the course. So probably, let's think you would like to apply for journalism, okay? Journalism
Okay.
could be open in Bristol, but not open in Birmingham, okay? You need to go and see for yourself which universities have the course that you're interested in open, okay?
Okay.
Which I'm going to show you later about what you need to do in terms of in terms of finding the universities and courses. But I'm not sure about all the universities. I'm not sure about all the courses. So you need to decide, I want to apply for biomedical science first, and then these are the universities that I would like to go to. So if you are living in London, you probably have 7, 8 options in London or around London, and then going to those universities one by one to see which one is still open. Okay, you need to spend some time, but it's not difficult to find those information.
What about Bristol University? Do you think it's
I'm sure that there are many courses still open in Bristol, but I'm not sure which one. But it's easy to find out. I'm going to show you the link about where you can find the open courses. Basically, you need to go through this application process, okay? So when you do the application process, at some point you need, so let me move to the next slide. Okay, so during this slide, I'm going to answer your question as well, Arzu.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so when you apply, and you will see a video about the application process later, when I share with you the video, you need to put your personal information. So name, date of birth, country of origin, everything. You need to insert your previous education. So just you need to insert it. They don't want any proof at this point, okay? They don't want you to upload your high school diploma, so you don't need to translate anything. Just have them ready for later. You need to add some information about your previous employment. If you have, just add. If you don't have, not an issue. Again, you don't need any proof. You don't need any paperwork. The next stage is you can choose up to 5 courses and universities, okay? And that's when you can see which courses are open, because it shows you a box. In that box, you can insert journalism, okay? And it shows you the journalism courses that are open, or you can search for universities like University of Bristol, and it shows you the courses open in University of Bristol. You can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It depends on you. But I suggest you choose 5 because it increases your chance. Then the next stage, it will ask you to upload or copy.
Sorry, Amir, I
Go on.
interrupt you.
Yes, go on.
Up to 5 courses, that means is in the same university or different kind of universities?
Could be in the same university, could be different kind. There is no limitation. But most of the time, if you are applying for, you will end up with 5 courses in 5 different universities, because probably you are interested in biomedical science. So in Bristol, they have just 1 biomedical science course. So you apply for that, and then you apply for biomedical science in, I'm not sure, in Birmingham, and biomedical science in Manchester. So, however, you can apply for biomedical science in Bristol, and then human biology in Bristol as well, and then social care in Bristol, okay? So there is no limit in terms of the course and in terms of the university. It could be 5 different courses in 5 different universities, 1 course in 5 universities, or 5 courses in 1 university. There is no limitation.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so next stage, it will ask you to copy and paste your personal statement, which means you need to have your personal statement ready, okay? So there, I will have some slides about personal statements next week. Then, but you need to start, this is something you can easily find on Google, okay? Just Google personal statement, UCAS, undergrad. There are loads of videos and material and content. What you need to do in the next few weeks, start writing your personal statement, and then there are personal tutors and mentors and volunteers here in Olive who are happy to help you with how to improve your personal statement, okay? So use the opportunity to write whatever you can. Don't be worried, you don't need to write like a perfect thing. Whatever you can, just bring it on a piece of paper, and then we can help you to improve your statement. You need a personal reference, a referee. As I said, it could be one of your teachers in the past, in your country, here, your language, your ESOL teacher, your college teacher. If you don't have anyone, we are here in Olive, most of the Olive tutors, they are happy, and I'm happy to be your personal reference. And for your personal reference, you need just to have their name and their email address. You need just to ask them if they are happy to be your reference. They give you their email address, and then you put that email address in your application form. You don't need anything else. And then for proof of language, the good thing is in this moment, okay, when you're applying for undergrad and postgrad, if you have your language, you can add your proof of language. If you don't, not an issue, you still can apply. Okay, don't think that because I don't have the language paper, the IELTS or ESOL or whatever, I cannot apply. At this time, at this point of time, they don't want you to have it. They give you time until later. If you have it, it can increase your chance, okay? But even if you don't have it, for undergrads or even for postgrads, universities, if they want to give you the offer, they give you something called a conditional offer. So they say, we are giving you this offer, but the condition is you provide your language proficiency paper until this point of time, in two weeks, 2 months, 3 months. Usually they give you time until midsummer, okay? If probably 1 or 2 months before they start. So that's why I encourage everyone to apply, and don't think of language as a problem now. You can apply, and then you have 6 months, 7 months, 4 months, 5 months, it depends on university, to go through your language exam or qualification. Any question? Like I mentioned, I send you the video. I do the application during the video, and it's very clear, but these are the main things that you need to have. Any question?
Thank you so much, Noel.
Okay, so let's see In terms of finances, okay, this is important. Like I said, if you have your refugee status, if you have right to remain in the country, you are entitled to student finance and other sort of financial support available. So if we will be talking about other financial support if you want to do further education or job related training. But in terms of higher education, if you're a refugee, you are entitled to student finance. Okay, and a student finance for undergrad, it pays the tuition fee and some kind of maintenance fees, and there are other options for postgraduate as well. However, if you are still waiting for your asylum claim to be processed, at this moment, unfortunately, you are not entitled to a student finance. However, and thankfully, many universities, and there are the number has been increasing every year. Many universities now, they offer scholarship for students who are still waiting for their asylum claim. Okay. Generally speaking, they are known as Sanctuary Scholarship. I'm going to show you a link to the Sanctuary Scholarship website so that you can go through it, know more about it. But later, week 2 and week 3, I'll be teaching you about or showing you how to apply for Sanctuary Scholarships. But just have it in mind, for refugees, no barrier in terms of finance. You can use government provided finance options. If you're an asylum seeker at the moment, the only option that you have in terms of finance is Sanctuary Scholarship. But again, learn everything, because at some point, who knows, maybe next month, next week, or later, you will have your refugee status. And then having this information can save you time. So instead of spending time later to learn, if you know now, you can start as soon as you have your status. I have a reading list for you, and I want you to go through this reading list between now and next session. So these are the lists. These are the reading for the first one is a guide to help students who are refugees or seeking asylum to write their personal statement. Okay, I will be talking about your personal statement later in next on the kind of future sessions, but I want you to go through this and just start to learn a bit about the personal statement, especially if for students from refugee background. I added a link to, because many of you have questions about finance. So there is a link for you to go through and learn more about finance for refugees and asylum seekers, including scholarships. And if you are a refugee and asylum seeker applying for postgrad, there is a link for you. Okay, we will be learning more and in detail about all of these in the next sessions, but it's important for you to just spend some time, probably half an hour, 20 minutes, 50, whatever time that you have, just go and quickly read them, okay? Because later when I talk about it, you already know some basic information about them, and probably if you have any question, you can bring your question to the session. Then so make sure that you're reading these resources. And for next session, these are the things that I would like you to do as your homework. Just do as many as you can, okay? Don't be worried. So most of the time I tell the students, even if you couldn't do them, come to the next session, okay? Don't think that I'm going to have like an exam or quiz, okay? These are for you. Spend time to go through as many as you can, but even if you don't have time, some of you may have busy with family, with childcare, you have other things to do, you may work, you don't have good access to internet, not an issue. Come to the next session, even if you don't have time to go through these. But if that would be very helpful if you can. So the first one is based on what we said. I would like you to think about your level of education and level of language based on level 1 to level 8 of education and different levels of language. So if you have any question, if you're not clear for you where you are in terms of academic qualification and in terms of language qualification, please do ask me next week, okay? But it's very important for you to clearly know where you are in that chart, in that kind of ladder of level 1 to level 8. You know, if you need information, you can go to the booklet, the red booklet that I showed you earlier, and you can go to university websites for more specific, country-specific information. Go to UCAS, and this is the link to UCAS. I'm going to share the slides with you. Click on this, go to UCAS, and watch the video that I'll send later, and start the application process, okay? Go through the application. If you have any problem, just come back with your questions. Just search for, when you do the UCAS, okay, it shows you list of universities and courses that you can apply for. And there is link to that university web page, and in that university web page you can see the entry requirements. So for instance, if you are interested to study study architecture in University of, I'm not sure, Glasgow, just Google it, okay? BSc Architecture, University of Glasgow. Every university, they have a page for that university course, and the entry requirements are clearly stated there. You can see they would say, oh, you need to have A levels or GCSEs or equivalent, or you need to do this English level, or so on and so forth. So go through the entry requirements and see which one you can meet and pass, which one you need to have later or in the future. Start working on a personal statement. There will be a session on personal statement, but here is a link, like a beginner sort of activity. Go through the link, read more about what is a personal statement, what you need to write about a personal statement. It's like one page. It's not like a long piece of writing. It's just like 500, 400 words. So it's 2-3 paragraphs, one page. And it's when you learn how to write it, it's not that difficult. And especially you're having support here from your personal tutors and volunteers. Have in mind, you don't need language now, although you need to work and you have your plan for your language, but just apply. If you don't have the language qualification yet, that's not a big issue at the moment. If you need a scholarship, so this is mainly for students who are still waiting for their asylum claim, there is a list of universities who offer sanctuary scholarship. During the next sessions, I'm going to talk in detail about sanctuary scholarship, how to apply, when to apply. But here you can find the list, very good information, and then just have those information until next week when we will be talking about scholarship process. If you need help with your statement or reference, as I said, we could be your reference. That's not a huge issue. Just ask. We give you our email, and then just add email to your UCAS. If you need a statement, start writing that, and then later there will be support from tutors and from the personal mentors to work on your statement. And we will discuss everything later during the next sessions in detail. Okay, so this is the homework. I think that this is my very final slide, and we are on time. We still have like 20 minutes for question and answers. And as I mentioned, it could be about what we just discussed. It could be about the course. It could be about anything else that you would like to have. I'm going to stop recording so that you feel comfortable with